The gym, was there any conversation around that at all?
Nah, even if it was, I don't even speak on, what other people got going on, I would love to fight.
Earlier this week, Shakur Stevenson invited Eddie Hearn, Terence Crawford, and Floyd Mayweather to watch his sparring session. What Stevenson didn't expect, however, was a heated exchange erupting between Mayweather and Crawford once the sparring ended. Both men had been seated ringside at the gym, watching intently as Stevenson continued his preparations for his February 22nd showdown against Floyd Schofield. In an interview with Fight Hype, Shakur Stevenson reflected on what turned out to be a star-studded gathering at the gym. "Man, I don't even know how all of them ended up there," Stevenson admitted. "I feel like I need an extra check for that. I'm always putting these things together, but I don't always get the recognition I deserve. Still, I managed to create a great moment having everyone show up at the gym. I'm grateful to those guys for pulling up and supporting me. I always try to soak in whatever wisdom or advice they have to offer." Interestingly, it's worth noting that Mayweather had once attempted to sign Stevenson, but in the end, it was Eddie Hearn in Matchroom who succeeded in landing the talented prospect.
Hold me back!
Though Eddie Hearn and Floyd Mayweather managed to put aside their past differences to laugh and chat, the tension between Mayweather and Terence Crawford told a different story. Once allies, their relationship has taken a sharp turn this year. For Shakur Stevenson, the year 2025 holds tremendous potential, but he understands that he must deliver a standout performance in next month's fight. As for Crawford and Mayweather, what began as a friendly encounter quickly escalated when Crawford confidently told Mayweather that he was certain he could beat him in a head-to-head bout.
Like in the gym that day?
Nah, it just was talking about like my boxing. It wasn't nothing about no Kid Austin or the fight that I got coming up. It was more so just watching my...
The occasion that brought everyone together was Shakur Stevenson's intense training regimen. What many don't fully grasp is how grueling Stevenson's training truly is, but Eddie Hearn's comments offer a brief glimpse into his relentless mentality. Foregoing rest and sacrificing sleep are simply routine for a fighter chasing greatness, and world champions will be the first to tell you that.
Yeah, what was, so I mean, look, it ain't the first time you've been around Floyd, it ain't the first time you've been around any of those guys. But, that day, especially with you having this fight, and, a lot of people saying that maybe Kid Austin isn't ready for you. What kind of talk, what was the conversation like in the gym that day?
Nah, it just was talking about like my boxing. It wasn't nothing about no Kid Austin or...
Timing is everything when it comes to fighting, training, and resting. Speaking to IFL, Eddie Hearn shared his thoughts on what he witnessed during Stevenson's latest session. "What I enjoy most about being in that environment is witnessing genuine passion for the sport," Hearn said. Last night, Terence Crawford was there watching Shakur spar. Shakur went through 14 rounds, each lasting 4 minutes, with only 30-second breaks. Afterward, Terence and Floyd moved to another ring to watch Ray Ford spar as well. Both Mayweather and Crawford share a deep-rooted passion for boxing. Terence, in particular, loves being around young fighters, offering guidance and showing support to up-and-coming talent from his community. "It was pretty cool," said one onlooker. Stevenson's 14 grueling rounds, each 4 minutes with only half-minute breaks, were no easy feat, especially for his sparring partner. What makes it even more remarkable is that Stevenson was bouncing back from a serious hand injury that hospitalized him last year. With his return scheduled for February 22nd, Stevenson's 2025 campaign is already being hailed as part of one of the most stacked boxing cards in history.
Hold up. So if he pound for pound, Floyd was pound for pound. You or Floyd, who would have done that? Who would have won that?
Me.
Oh shit, okay, I'm just asking. Hold up.
Terence Crawford made a bold assertion that he could have beaten Floyd Mayweather had they fought during their primes. The Omaha native and switch hitter is a 4-division world champion with 31 knockouts under his belt. Most recently, Crawford added the WBA title at super welterweight after defeating Israel Madrio by decision, marking his 4th weight class with a world title. He's also among the extremely rare group of fighters who've been undisputed in 2 divisions during the 4-belt era. Only 3 boxers have ever achieved that. As Crawford continues building his legacy as one of the all-time greats, fans still hotly debate how he stacks up next to boxing's immortals, including a dream matchup against the last dominant American icon, Floyd Mayweather.
Terence didn't mention the fight, didn't say anything. You didn't talk to him about it. Floyd,
Sorry.
not a peep.
Not a word.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. Thanks.
Floyd Money Mayweather retired undefeated in 2017, leaving behind one of the most successful careers in boxing history. The defensive maestro beat legends like Canelo Alvarez, Manny Pacquiao, Shane Mosley, and Oscar de la Hoya. But had Terence Crawford stepped into the ring with him, would he have made that list too? When asked on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast how he would fare against Mayweather, Crawford answered with certainty, me versus anybody. His trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, echoed that belief, albeit while acknowledging his bias. There are two reasons, Bomac said. First, Crawford's like a son to me, so I'll always back him. And second, he's got that dog in him. He didn't reach this level overnight, it took years of sacrifice and hard work.
That would have been a hard fucking fight, though.
Man, me versus anybody, I'm gonna always say me.
Okay.
Come on.
If you placed Bud in his prime against Floyd in his prime, yes, Mayweather would be the smarter fighter, Bomac acknowledged. But Bud would have more heart. Whether he could crack Floyd's legendary defense is something people will always argue about. Currently, a more realistic matchup for Crawford would be Floyd Mayweather's looming bout with Canelo Alvarez in September. WBC lightweight champ Shakur Stevenson firmly believes Crawford would beat Canelo and do it with ease. For years, Stevenson has maintained that Crawford would emerge victorious if the two ever met in the ring.
Rumors of Canelo and obviously your good friend, mentor, Terence Crawford. A lot of people a few years ago would have said that's crazy, but I think everybody, when they see the talent of Terence Crawford, forgetting...
Terence Crawford, now WBA light middleweight title holder, has announced he plans to bulk up by 14 pounds ahead of his highly anticipated showdown, potentially the biggest payday of his career. Asked whether he believes Crawford can win, Shakur Stevenson answered without hesitation. I've been saying this for years, Stevenson said. I was probably the first one to say it even before Terence did. I've always believed Crawford's style is all wrong for Canelo. During an appearance on TalkSport Boxing, Stevenson gave the impression that Crawford would be willing to go toe-to-toe and trade with Canelo Alvarez in September. Yet given Crawford's usual approach to heavy-handed opponents, that scenario seems unlikely.
Says he's a special fighter, pound for pound. I think many will say #1 in the world, alongside the likes of people like yourself and that great list that we've got at the minute. See the man.
Crawford's strategy typically involves using his footwork, jab, and angles to land clean punches before swiftly resetting. He avoids staying in one spot or engaging in prolonged exchanges. His explosive outing against Errol Spence was more the exception than the rule, largely because Spence wasn't at his physical best following his car crash. It's going to be a little over a year, around 13 months, Chris Mannix said on his YouTube channel, commenting on Crawford potentially taking a tune-up fight. You've got to be cautious moving above 160 pounds because it's a whole different weight class. Mannix believes it's unlikely that Crawford would risk a tune-up bout at super middleweight before clashing with Canelo in September.
Canelo.
Yes, honestly, if anybody could jump up in weight classes and do it, it's Terence Crawford. I don't know nobody who...
Should Crawford enter the middleweight ranks, it would likely be at a catchweight, possibly 163 or 164 pounds, against a middleweight fighter moving up. Possible opponents include Aaron McKenna, Liam Smith, Austin Williams, or Kyron Davis, fighters who currently pose little threat to Crawford and sit lower in the rankings. Another ongoing point of contention among boxing enthusiasts is the ever-present debate around the sport's greatest of all time. Floyd Mayweather and Roy Jones Jr. are two iconic names frequently mentioned, each widely regarded as the pound-for-pound king of their respective eras. The debate about who truly deserves the GOAT crown rages on endlessly.
The Floyd 50-0, or is it like?
You gotta respect anything a person does and stay undefeated that long. So I respect it to a degree, yeah. Is it a 50-0 that I think, oh, he the greatest fighter all the time? Nah.
With an unblemished 50-0 record, Mayweather is hailed by many as the greatest pound-for-pound boxer to ever step into the ring. His near-impenetrable defense and ability to control the tempo of every fight made him a one-of-a-kind tactician. Commercially, he shattered records, headlining 4 of the top 5 highest-grossing pay-per-view events in boxing history. But Roy Jones Jr., himself a 4-division champion and the first fighter in over a century to win both middleweight and heavyweight world titles, has a different opinion. When asked by Real Life Productions whether Mayweather deserved the GOAT title, Jones simply said, "No." Jones dazzled fans with his speed, power, and flair, beating names like James Toney, Bernard Hopkins, and Antonio Tarver, all while delivering thrilling performances throughout his storied career.
Shabby was 80-0 at one point. 80. He could have retired at 80-0. You go ever top that? No. He just didn't stop, right? You got to 50 and you stopped because of Rocky Marciano.
Right.
So Rocky died.
Floyd Mayweather famously retired with an unblemished 50-0 record, winning titles across 5 weight divisions and earning a reputation for having one of the greatest defenses in boxing history. His career was also marked by immense financial success, headlining 4 of the 5 highest-grossing pay-per-view events in the sport. In a conversation with Real Life Productions, Roy Jones Jr. was asked whether Mayweather's perfect record earned him the title of the greatest boxer of all time. Jones firmly responded with a no and went on to elaborate. "There are other careers that are more impressive," Jones stated. "Of course, anyone who remains undefeated for that long deserves respect, I'll give him that. But is 50-0 enough to make him the greatest ever? Nah. Julio Cesar Chavez once went 87-0. 87. Can you top that? No. Floyd hit 50-0 and stopped because of Rocky Marciano. If Marciano hadn't passed away, Floyd probably wouldn't have stopped there.
If he wasn't there, he probably would have kept going too. So that's, and then at the end, you fight a guy that's 0-0 for number 50. How can I respect it? You feel me? So, I mean, I love Floyd, don't get it wrong, I'm not hating on Floyd, but come on, bro, you fight a guy that's 0-0, Conor McGregor was 0-0, and they let you do that?
Jones also took aim at Mayweather's final fight, which ended with a 10th round stoppage of UFC superstar Conor McGregor, who was making his boxing debut. According to Jones, the matchup didn't meet the standards of a legitimate test for a boxer of Mayweather's caliber. The ongoing debate about boxing's greatest of all time continues to stir passion, fueled by the distinct legacies and philosophies of icons like Mayweather and Jones. One particularly memorable moment came when Mayweather and Terence Crawford crossed paths, with Eddie Hearn also present at Shakur Stevenson's training camp. The scene became a rare convergence of some of boxing's most influential names. They say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but in the modern era, especially with celebrities and eyewitnesses everywhere, it's nearly impossible to keep anything under wraps. And when Floyd Mayweather is involved, headlines are practically inevitable. A recent encounter between Mayweather and Eddie Hearn at a Las Vegas gym sparked a bit of tension. While it was laced with humor, the exchange hinted that their conversation wasn't entirely lighthearted.
I'm gonna tell you why I like Eddie. So one day, somebody, because you know I don't have social media on my phone. Yeah. So they showed me Eddie. Eddie was like, "Boy, Mayweather ain't got no."
It's important to note that Eddie Hearn has stated in several past interviews that Mayweather may not possess as much wealth as he publicly claims, or at least not the vast fortune he often references. According to Hearn, this may be the driving force behind Mayweather's continuous participation in exhibition fights. Even though Mayweather reportedly earned over $1.2 billion throughout his illustrious career, including massive paydays from fights with Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor, his current net worth is estimated at around $400 million. That figure still affords him a life of extravagant luxury outside the ring. Although he officially retired in 2017, Mayweather has remained active by participating in high-paying exhibitions, squaring off against lesser-known figures such as Deji and Logan Paul.
That's why he doing exhibitions. No, Eddie don't believe that now.
Yeah. But Eddie will say some shit like that, man.
Eddie will say some shit, but one thing.
The retired boxing superstar frequently claims that each of these exhibitions earns him 8-figure paydays, even referring to them as legalized bank robberies. When asked why he continues to take these kinds of bouts, Mayweather has stated that it's about building long-term, generational wealth. However, Matchroom promoter Eddie Hearn has raised doubts about Mayweather's true net worth, repeatedly suggesting that his lavish spending habits may have diminished it. "I don't believe he has the money he claims to have," Hearn said. "I'm not saying he needs it, but when you're spending like that, it catches up to you."
But me and Eddie got it clear, didn't we, Eddie?
Yeah.
One thing, me and my buddy got it clear.
We said as long as it's 10 or 20, no problem. Anything less.
The tension between the two men reached its peak when Mayweather confronted Hearn in Las Vegas regarding those comments. According to Mayweather, Hearn often makes such remarks publicly, but they had already addressed the matter. The conversation turned humorous, with both men playfully exchanging comments as their entourages laughed along. Their interaction occurred at a local boxing gym, where both were watching sparring sessions in preparation for the fight between Diego Pacheco and Steve Nelson. Mayweather opened the dialogue with a joke. So one day, someone told me, because you know I don't keep social media on my phone, they showed me Eddie.
Can't be less than 10. Because then we're struggling for money.
I had to show Eddie some of the account. Eddie.
And they said, Floyd Mayweather Jr. doesn't have any money, that's why he's doing exhibitions, Mayweather recounted with a grin. Eddie might say things like that, but he knows better. Me and Eddie already talked it through. His smirk was met with a matching grin from Hearn as the two shook hands. Hearn then chimed in with a lighthearted jab, yeah, as long as it's 10 or 20, we're good. Anything under 10? No way. Mayweather laughed heartily at the remark, joined by a few laughs from his team. Clearly, no animosity remained.
Imagine how much money Floyd Mayweather would have made if I was his promoter back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Mayweather revealed that he had even shown some of his financial statements to Hearn to clear the air. I had to show Eddie some of my accounts, he said with a smirk. Hearn replied jokingly, imagine how much money Floyd Mayweather would have made if I had been his promoter. You know what I'm saying? There's no denying Mayweather is still sitting on considerable wealth. In fact, he's recently made several real estate investments, including his biggest yet, a $42 million purchase of multiple apartment buildings.
Hold me back!
The old saying goes that many truths are spoken in jest, but when it comes to Mayweather, it's not all jokes. He remains one of the richest athletes to ever step away from competition. Though it's not confirmed whether he has more exhibitions scheduled, there are consistent rumors tying him to potential comebacks. Hearn never managed Mayweather's career, but there's little doubt he would have wanted to. After all, Mayweather's events with Pacquiao in 2015 and McGregor in 2017 remain the two highest-grossing fights in modern boxing history.
When I come and do an exhibition or come out and box and have some fun, I do it because I want to do it, not because I...
When I do an exhibition or decide to box just for fun, it's because I feel like it, not because I have to, Mayweather explained. Despite accumulating astonishing wealth over his two-decade career, rumors have occasionally surfaced suggesting Mayweather may not have handled his finances wisely. Even before his blockbuster fight against McGregor in 2017, Conor himself implied that Mayweather might be facing tax issues. Although he still holds the title of richest fighter in boxing history, scrutiny around his post-retirement finances has grown, particularly following public remarks from Eddie Hearn questioning the true extent of his wealth.
I mean, I think that Mayweather was unquestionably one of the best ever. But I don't know.
In a recent interview with GRM, Eddie Hearn cast further doubt on Mayweather's financial situation, saying, I don't think he's got the kind of money he says he has. I don't think he needs the money, but with a lifestyle like that, spending the way he does, it adds up. In response to the chatter, Floyd Mayweather posted a new video on Instagram, where he turned up the bravado to shut down Hearn's claim and hit back at the criticism.
Difficult to say he's not a true fighter because he fought everybody he could of his era. But he was a different kind of skill set, you know, he was very much hit and don't get hit, which is the art of boxing.
In the video, Mayweather was handed a check, which he held up while confidently announcing the amount printed on it. He then continued, you know how we do it. The one and only Floyd Money Mayweather, CEO of Zeus. I appreciate you. You guys always handle great business. That's 6 Zo's, not bad, it's a deal I respect.
See you again, man.
Come on, let me what's going on.
The money man is back, you know?
You know what we do. The one and only Floyd Money Mayweather, CEO of Zeus. Let me. I want to say I appreciate you. You guys always do great business.
Thank
and
you.
of course,
You know, we
if I'm the money man, they gotta have some fun.
He later appeared in another interview, where he addressed Hearn once again with a lighthearted comment: "When I come out and do an exhibition, it's because I love boxing and feel like doing it." Mayweather is still widely viewed as the most financially successful boxer of all time. At 47 years old, he retired undefeated at 50-0 and built a legacy as the sport's biggest draw. Over 50 fights, he generated billions in revenue, solidifying himself as one of the wealthiest and most marketable figures in combat sports.
I think sometimes when these guys carry on and they do the exhibitions and all that kind of stuff, it just sort of diminishes their legacy a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that's what I feel like's happened with Mayweather.
Though Hearn's remarks have sparked debate, they do highlight a familiar aspect of Mayweather's public persona: the frequent flaunting of wealth. At the same time, he's been the subject of numerous claims suggesting questionable financial decisions. Even after cashing in on one of boxing's most lucrative bouts, his 2017 megafight with former UFC 2weight champion Conor McGregor, Mayweather continues to seek out exhibition matches, keeping both his brand and his earnings alive. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to TKO Edge for more knockout content. From fight breakdowns to real-time reactions, we've got it all right here. Until next time, stay sharp, stay strong, and keep your guard up.